In this video, I'm going to go through my rod and reel combo lineup for the 2023 bass fishing season. If you're brand new to the channel, one of the running themes or jokes of the channel over the last couple of years is my inability to actually catch a fish, a bass, on a hollow body frog. For whatever reason, I have just had the worst luck, and it's like we're 2 years into this now, and it just every mishap that can happen. So again, for me to talk about what is my frog combo, okay, I won't just call this my frog combo, but this is like my more heavier punching, thicker grass kind of stuff. This is the Shimano Expride B. They just came out with the Expride B last year. 7.2, heavy action. It's got the monocoque handle for sensitivity, good for when you're punching, things like that. If you're using those jigs that weigh like an ounce, or punch skirts with weights, or heavy tungsten, being able to pull those bass out of the grass. They make heavier action ones for these, but this for me, I think will do everything I need it to do. I mostly work these around the pads. I do some punching here and there with the Tokyo rig or heavy tungsten, but not super heavy. It's not, I don't require a super heavy action rod, but this Shimano Expride B is amazingly light, sensitive with the monocoque handle. I've got this paired with the Shimano Curado 70 MGL with 50-pound Seaguar Smackdown braid, I think it is. And following some advice I got from a friend of mine, Chad Hoover, when it comes to frog fishing, him and Gene Jensen know what they're talking about. I'm going to tie on about a 6 to 8 foot, 30-pound Berkley Trilene big game monofilament leader to help that frog float a little better and maybe hide it a little more too. Something I'd never thought about before, but that was a little tip he gave me in a little master class he gave down on Veterans Day last year. I'm going to be throwing this a lot early in the year because I really want to catch a frogfish and I'm getting tired of one thing after another. Now, I've got a few other tips and tricks that Chad shared with me, but maybe I'll have him come on and give some of those tips in a video when I actually catch my first frogfish. We'll let him take credit for the assist. Next up, my most prized possession of all my rods, the GLoomis NRX Plus 873C Carolina rig rod. Carolina rig rod. This rod is the industry staple when it comes to football heads and finesse jigs. Right behind that, in my opinion, is probably the Daiwa Steez bottom contact 2. Another great rod, but I absolutely love this NRX Plus. Again, this is my most prized possession rod. Just one special piece of equipment to me. Paired it up with a Shimano Curado MGL 150. Now on this one, I'm throwing a different line than Seaguar and Vizix, which is pretty much my staple for every... Puppy, get off of my camera. Now on this one, I'm running different line than I normally would, which is Seaguar and Vizix. When I went to gear up to go to the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship last fall, my shop was out of the 17-pound Seaguar and Vizix that I would normally use. So I picked up some Sunline shooter 16-pound to pair up for these finesse jigs and football heads. And so far, I've got to say, I've been really impressed. Next up is the same jerkbait combo that I was running last year, the Dobyns Kaden 610 4CB, which is one of my favorite jerkbait rods. Dobyns does a great job on these. Have it paired up with Shimano SLX MGL in 8 gear. Really good for drawing up that line. Rod is 6'10", medium action, moderate fast action tip. Great for throwing those jerk baits. Great action for it. And a lot of folks are curious how people in kayaks actually fish the jerk bait, because if you stand up, you're using a shorter rod like this to impart that action on the bait. But there's a lot of people that stand up, especially if you run an old town kayak like I do. You can stand up and fish this just like you would while you're in a boat. I don't stand up as much because my left knee is very unstable as it is, so I sit and fish, but I've just adapted my technique to be able to fish a jerkbait realistically just like I would when I'm standing in my boat. And I say standing in my boat, I really don't even stand in my boat that much. I've got one of those Bill Dance chairs up front, so I sit and fish most of the day. It's just me dealing with my limitations, but still getting out on the water and doing what I got to do. But again, the Dobyns Kaden series, excellent bang for the buck rod. Just love these Dobyns Kadens. And you'll notice I've got a pretty diverse lineup across the board. Speaking of Dobyns Kaden, let's go straight to my crankbait rod. My favorite crankbait rod of all time, the Dobyns Kaden 735 CB. Excellent, excellent rod. 7'3", medium heavy, moderate fast action rod. Perfect for me for throwing crankbaits. I absolutely love throwing some 6th Sense crankbaits, and this thing is perfect for this application. And what do I have it paired up with? The Shimano SLX DC XT. This is a new reel that they came out with. It's only in Japan right now. They didn't release it to the US. It's got a 70 MGL3 spool, which means it doesn't hold as much line, which is perfectly fine by me. Faster startup inertia. I bought this particular reel because I ran into a situation last year at the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship. Super windy the whole event. I was spot locked, casting into the wind, get my bait out there, bring it back with the wind as if the bait fish were blowing it around the corner, or in this particular case, a brush pile I was fishing. I went to make a long cast with my crankbait, and as soon as I whipped it out there, a gust picked up, and my spool went. I've been fishing for a long time. I know how to thumb a reel, do all that. Some days, some things happen, you just can't stop it. So I decided when I heard about this reel come out, and it was only available in Japan, being that the market the way it is right now, the yen and the dollar exchange, I went ahead and picked this up from overseas and brought it in. I previously had a Shimano Curado DC that has that braking system, that has that electronic braking system in it, but I didn't like how bulky it was on the side. This new model of the Shimano SLX DC reel has the iDC5, which is their newest digital control braking system in it, and it's not nearly as wide as it was previously in the Shimano Curados. So I figured, hey, I'm going to try to solve that problem. It fits and feels really good in the hand, pairs up perfectly with this Dobyns Kaden crankbait rod. I really can't wait. Haven't even done a first look video on this. You're seeing it for the first time right here in this video, and I can't wait to get out and catch some fish on it. I'm going to string this up with some Seaguar Basics 10-pound fluorocarbon and get to fishing with it. Should be a great combo. I can't wait to try it out. Next up, one of my favorite combos over the last few years, Dobyns Champion XP. This is their dock skipping model. It's the DC 610 4C. It's a heavy fast action rod. I love, love, loved. For me, the Dobyns Champion XP is probably the best bang for the buck rod on the market. You can't beat the warranty. $280 price point. The only other rod that I would put in that class is the Shimano Expride B series. The Shimanos are a little bit lighter, but the warranty's not quite as good. So you pick your poison when it comes to those two. But they're actually going to be doing a lot of head-to-head with for me this year. But this is my dock skipping combo. I have it paired up with the Loomis Pro SP. Absolutely love this shallow spool in this thing. Just makes it great for skipping docks. Last year I had the 8 gear ratio. This year I have the new 7:5:1 they just came out with. Picked this up from my partners at Loomis. Absolutely love the shallow spool in this. It's going to get about 40 yards of this Sunline shooter fluorocarbon. 6'10", heavy, fast action, Dobyns Champion XP. Absolutely love it. Next up, my versatile combo. This is kind of my do everything else rod and reel setup. I'll throw spinner baits on it. I'll throw stupitudes on it, things like that. 7'3", medium heavy, fast action, Shimano Poison Adrena. This thing is like my lightsaber. I mean, it is truly incredible. Have it paired up with the Shimano Curado MGL 150. You'll notice the repeat pattern of the Shimano Curado MGL 150. One of my absolute favorite reels. Best, in my opinion, best bang for the buck bait caster that you can get. Have it set up with 12-pound Seaguar Invisix fluorocarbon. Again, it's kind of my do everything else combo. And this combo came through for me in the last 5 minutes of the qualifying day, the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship last year. Caught me the spinnerbait fish that I needed with minutes to go to qualify into that top 100 and fish in Championship Friday. That was just an amazing day. I absolutely love this combo. The action is great for chucking those spinnerbaits right where I want them. And this monocoque handle is really something else. I like skipping tubes under overhangs and docks as well. And this handle is super sensitive. You feel that bite almost immediately. Again, Poison Adrenaline, a 7'3", medium heavy, fast action. This is my versatile do everything combo. Next up is the combo that I threw more than anything all last year and will probably throw more than anything all this year. This is my jackhammer chatterbait bladed jig combo. It's the GLoomis 883C BJR or bladed jig rod. This is a 7'4". It's a fast action tip. I've always been taught and told that you need a glass rod to impart that parabolic action in the rod so that it bends enough so you don't pull that hook, so that you don't blow that bass's mouth open when he's trying to grab that jig because of the big blade on the front. GLoomis solves this problem because you're getting a rod that's not glass, so it's actually lighter. They actually have a custom table for putting tapers in these rod blanks that simulates that parabolic bend in these rods. And I tell you what, while the GLoomis makes an NRX Plus in this same rod, this IMX Pro has all the same action and works beautifully at a far lesser cost. I've got this paired up with one of my favorite reels of all time, the 2021 Daiwa Zillion SVTW. This thing is incredible. It's in a 6:3 gear ratio, 12-pound Seaguar Invisics fluorocarbon. I tell you, I've been on a search for what I consider the perfect jackhammer rod the last couple of years, and to me, this is the perfect combination. Absolutely love it. I will have this in my hand probably 80% of the time that I'm fishing. All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Now, a couple months ago, I picked up this new Shimano Miravel reel, and I've been debating on what rod I wanted to throw it on. I kind of want to do everything Neko, Ned, drop shot, just kind of a do everything combo. Last fall I played with the Shimano Vanford in the 2500, and I had it paired up with the Shimano Zodius rod, and I went to the national championship with it and really liked it. But since Shimano came out with a new reel, I wanted a new rod to kind of, you know, play with as well. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the new Shimano Expride B 7.2 medium light, which they categorize as a versatile rod, which is perfect for everything that I want to do. I don't throw a spinning rod a ton, but I'm going to be fishing the rivers a lot more, so this year I'll be throwing a mix of, say, drop shot, Neko rigs, Ned rigs, especially those little Neds with the crawls. And I wanted something newer that came out with to be able to play with and kind of compare against that Zodius from last year. And I was finally able to get my hands on one of these 7.2 Expride B medium lights. So I think I'm really going to like this. Again, the monocoque carbon handle. This thing should be light. I love the fact that they added the hook keeper. Again, I really love the monocoque handles on these Expride Bs. Makes it super sensitive. I'm really hoping I catch my PB Smalley on this combo this year. So here's that. I like throwing Texas rig worms. I love throwing Texas rig creature baits quite often, actually. I will keep one of these sitting right next to my jig rod. If I don't think that they're grabbing one, I'll flip the other in there just to see. A lot of the times I'll have a finesse jig tied on, and then I'll turn around and have the 7 or 10 inch worm right next to it just to keep throwing them into those same brush piles. This one's going to be a little bit different. This rod, brand new, I did a first look on not long ago. This is the 7'3" medium heavy fast action FMJ model, stands for full metal jacket. And like I said before, I love the gold finish and the detail that they put into these rods. And the reel that I've decided to pair up with this, new from Lose, the Elite TI. Black and golden kind of chrome trim actually matches up with this Megabass rod perfectly. This reel is possible because I'm blessed to have a cool partnership with Lose and Strike King that allows me to access this Elite TI at a pretty reasonable price. So I really can't wait to see how this combo comes up. Have not even done a first look, an unveil, or anything on this reel yet, but when I saw it come out last year, I love the Pro TI. I said I have to get my hands on one of these and see how well it does. I think it matches up really nice with this Megabass P5 Destroyer. and should make for a great Texas rig combo. Obviously, with my partnership with both Lew's and American Legacy Fishing, hey, there's always a possibility of something new coming out throughout the year. So you'll see me do like on the water reviews or first looks as those things comes in. Now, if you want to take a look at the review I did on the GLoomis NRX Plus, hey, you can watch that right here. If you want to see the review I did on that Poison Adrena, I'll drop that right here. Until next time, get outside when you can and make some memories. One cast at a time.